This is the third and final video for Chapter 7. Now we're starting with other forms of market research here. MROCs are market research online communities. And these are online communities that fit whatever kind of demographic or psychographic or lifestyle that you're looking for. People are usually members or part of this community for long periods of time. They communicate with each other a lot, so there's a great way to be able to get information, to contact them, to try to get information and use them for your benefit in regards to trying to gather information about their particular type of, like I said, demographic, psychographic, maybe geographic location, lifestyle, interest, hobbies, whatever it happens to be. In regards to questioning, whether you do quantitative or qualitative research, there are limitations there, because sometimes the people who answer the questions, they'll give the answers that they think the person wants to hear. They might just mess around with the sheets if it's written, may not take it seriously, may not be able to recall information accurately, so there are some potential drawbacks there as well. Observations, that's just when you see and or record what the people or person is doing without any kind of influence on their behavior whatsoever. A lot of times they might not even realize that you are doing observations, maybe watching videos within a store, whatever it happens to be. The big thing with that is that there's no influence on them whatsoever. The ethnographic research, the book mentions that it has its roots in anthropology, which studies cultures, right? And this is where you're going to be studying people by observing them in their natural habitat, at their home, at work, at play, wherever it happens to be. That's what the ethnographic is all about. We're talking about the observation here. What you see is what you get. The big thing here is it's all about observation, trying not to have any influence on them whatsoever. Sometimes the best way to observe a customer is for the person to actually pretend to be a customer. That's something that can happen as well. There are different ways to observe people. Talked about Nielsen, how they gather data on television viewers using what they refer to as people meters, and they record the channels that people are watching for a selected sample of the country. Right, website analysis software is out there that allows people in marketing, primarily marketing managers, but sometimes other people in the marketing department, to observe how the customer behavior is at their particular website. Who's hitting their website, how often is it being hit and used and accessed, and where are they going on their website. The checkout scanners, well, this deals a lot with shopping behaviors. The scanners will keep tabs as to what demographic of people are buying what, especially if you have some sort of a bonus card or a membership card, a discount card with them. They'll know who you are, your demographic information, and then what you are buying on a continual basis. And consumer panels are just groups of consumers who provide information to research firms, and they do this on a continuing basis. Okay, they do this more than just a one and done situation. All right, this is just excuse me, a graph chart that's going to be showing you comparing two different ads and the effectiveness of the ads. It's pretty self-explanatory, but if you have questions, again, you can email me the questions on these, but just look over this. This one's pretty self-explanatory. All right, step number 4. There is a frequently used approach called cross-tabulation that is used for analyzing and interpreting market research data. A lot of companies will use software, statistical packages that help make interpreting the data easier, more convenient, helps break them down into different sections, and kind of organizes things and like I said, makes it a lot easier for the people who are tabulating the information, keeps it organized and separate. Now, the first question a marketing research has to answer is your sample going to be a true representation of the larger population? Now, the population is just a total group of people that the researcher or manager is interested in getting information from. A sample is just a smaller group that is selected to represent the large group. All right, so you need to know the difference between the population and the sample. There's excuse me, a term in the bottom right, the confidence interval. This is just a range on either side of an estimate that is likely to contain the true population value. This is like the standard deviation where you have a little bit of a plus or minus, a little bit of a wiggle room that it could go one way or the other. It gives you that little bit of flexibility. Right, validity is just to what the book's definition is the extent to which data measures what it is intended to measure. Is it really doing what it is supposed to be doing? How valid is the information regarding the information that you're looking for? Is it worthwhile? Is it able to be used? All right, poor interpretation can destroy the research. If you have valid research but you don't interpret it properly and don't use it properly, it's pointless as well. So that's something else just to kind of keep in mind with this. Checking your knowledge. This one's dealing with a marketing research firm which conducted a telephone survey for a consumer products company. It provided new and interesting information about brand image, the competition, and other topics. At the end of the research company's results presentation, the sales manager commented, "This is all interesting information, but it doesn't tell me why our market share is declining among 18 to 34-year-old women, nor does it offer me any suggestions about actions I can take to deal with the situation. The sales manager's complaint suggests that the research suffers from problems with what?" Right now, it doesn't say anything in regards to how many people replied, so response rate is out. It doesn't talk about who is being asked, like the sampling. A says a lack of action implications for management, and poor planning by the researcher and managers at the outset of the project. Probably A and B would be the best situation because it sounds like it was not planned out properly. They didn't ask probably the right questions to get the right information, and there's not really enough action, enough things that give implications to this manager. Right, there's nothing that he can really use with it. So for me, the best answer here would be letter E, both A and B. All right, now we move on to step number 5 with solving the problem. With this, researchers and managers become pretty fascinated by the interesting little tidbits, as the book listed in the PowerPoint listed here, these interesting little tidbits of information that come through the research process. If research reveals something that they didn't know before, they love that. Any new information, something that's unknown before, is very valuable for them. And those are the kind of things that they really, really like. If research doesn't have any action implications, it has little to no value whatsoever, and probably suggests that there was poor planning, just like the previous question was. It could be poor planning by the researcher and or the manager that was in charge. When the research process is finished, the marketing manager should be able to apply the findings in the marketing strategy, the planning portion of it. All right, the choice of the target market, the marketing mix, in regards to the 4 Ps, all those things can then be begin to be applied. The findings that you have can be applied then at that point. If the research doesn't help you at all, it's just a total waste of time, effort, money, manpower, just a waste of time. All right, our final slide is talking about international marketing research. Now, you have to make sure that as you go internationally, you have to be aware of some differences that could come up. We've talked about some of those as well. With this, customer needs, customer interests, their likes and dislikes, as well as talking about segmenting dimensions, environmental factors. There are a lot of things that are completely different in foreign markets than they are domestically here. So you have to make sure you have really reliable research to help eliminate or at least minimize the risk that you could take by messing up going internationally. Right, it might be difficult to gather the information. It might be difficult to gather accurate information anyway. So what some marketers that are dealing in international markets, they would actually go with local research companies, because the people who are local know the customs, know the culture, know the ins and outs, and can relate everything back to them. Some will do that. Some will just use their own people and do the best that they can with that as well. And this brings us to the end of Chapter 7, the final video here. Be sure to look at the review sheet that I have made available out in the front part of the D2L, the review sheet section. Be sure you look at that before taking the test, and the test should be available Thursday night sometime. Alright, see you on Tuesday.